Raymond, Oracle Stadium, for the first time this season, was at full capacity for the Bay Bridge Series. The A's were in the house, you were in attendance, and this got me thinking, Raymond. Now that Oracle is allowing fans back in the stands, it made me think, when should we allow fans back into the GoldCast studios?
Well, the answer is actually never, because we've never allowed fans in the GoldCast studio.
That would explain why it's so quiet around here.
All the time.
That would do it.
This is
the GoldCast.
Boom! Welcome to another edition of the GoldCast. We are the voice of the Bay. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Solis the First, baby.
Boom! All right, Raymond, here it is. We're halfway through the Giants mini gauntlet. A's came into town, the Bay Bridge Series, always a fun series, always a feisty one. I think sometimes it tears the Bay Area up a little bit, as we know. I think it's very common and very, 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 very common for people to cheer for both the Giants and the A's. But nevertheless, it does get pretty frisky out there, and then you do meet those fans who only go for one team versus the others. And sometimes, I've been to a couple of those games, it can feel very Niners-Raider-esque. But let's start with day one, game one. Giants win 2-0. You're in the building. Raymond, what was it like being back into Oracle Park with all the fans back, everything being fully reopened? What was the experience like for you?
It was like a breath of fresh air, seeing all the fans back. Now, not every food kiosk was open, but the Crab Shack was. So I got a crab sandwich for $20. Oh my God. It was like a nuclear bomb of flavor in my mouth. It was amazing. And so I went as a super fan. I had a Giants hat on, and I had a yellow and green A's jersey on, although I bought it in Nicaragua, so it actually doesn't say Athletics. It says Nicaragua on the front of it. And one person got snarky with me and walked past me because she saw the jersey, missed the hat, and said, "Welcome to the city." And I said, "Excuse me?" And I opened the jacket, and she's like, "Oh," and then there's like two A's fans in line next to me. And they're like, "I'm from Nicaragua too." And so we had this moment, and it was really fun. Good company. We were there for a friend's birthday, and it was a blast. And another friend actually ended up on Cron 4 later on, and he didn't want the exposure, but he got it regardless. And we were in the bleacher section, but unfortunately the lone home run did not cut, or I should say the one home run that did hit the bleachers did not fall in our section. We were on so if you're standing at home plate, we're on the left field side of the bleachers, not the right field side that's underneath the scoreboard. But it was also fireworks night too. Nobody in the stadium left at the end of the game. Everyone stayed in their seats and watched an amazing fireworks show. I captured it on video. It was pretty darn special to just have everyone just embraced it. It was like if we hadn't skipped a beat. And there was no rudeness. Everyone was polite. Everyone was great. It was super fun. And as far as the game's concerned, Cueto continues his dominance against the Oakland A's. He's actually has one win, 2 no decisions. Well, actually, and now he has 2 wins and 2 no decisions. But he has a 1.04 ERA. That will probably drop down again. And he probably has a 0.99 ERA at this point, something along those lines, because he blanked the A's, only allowed 5 hits, and was just absolutely amazing. And I think that he thrives in a situation like that. The whole crowd was back. It's the first 100% capacity game. Cueto likes the spotlight. And I think he just went balls to the walls, hard body karate, and he just didn't look back. And the A's once again had no answer. Even Matt Olson, who has hit him well over the years, was not able to put anything on the board to do any significant damage, and as a result, we got the win. And in game 2, it was even more electric with the extra innings. And as soon as Bob Melvin went out there, I said if he keeps arguing today, he's going to get tossed out. And sure enough, he got tossed out, and we had the big clutch hit to seal that one. That was dramatic. I would have loved to have been at that game. Josh Our good friend Josh, he was with me for game 1 on Friday and also in attendance for game 2 on Saturday. So lucky him. He went to both games, and I'm sure the second game with the walk-off must have been pretty darn exciting for him in that stadium. So all around good win. I knew that they were going to be playing. I had a feeling they were going to be playing for the sweep because of just the momentum we had coming in here and the matchup that I saw. I just saw better matchups against us, but the A's are a good team. They are the best in the West for a reason, or at least one of the best in the AL West for a reason. And so I wasn't necessarily surprised that they were able to kind of salvage some dignity with avoiding the sweep, but still a great series win for the Giants, who remain the top team in all of baseball and now are actually trying to get a win against the Dodgers as we speak.
Yeah, Raymond, this was a great showing. We're now halfway through. We had the mini sweep of the Angels. We took the series against the A's, and now is the big test, us versus the Dodgers. And right now, we're recording on Monday, June 28th, 9:28. And as of right now, it's 3-2. Dodgers are still in the lead, but plenty of time for the Giants to take this game. We'll obviously be recapping most of this series on Thursday's episode, and hopefully Candlestick will be back in the building. We're not sure. He's going to be traveling, so we might have to have Candlestick will come a little bit later. But this mini gauntlet, Raymond, as you said before, is a very important test. And so far, the Giants have lived up to expectations. I'm pretty excited. How are you so far this far into our mini gauntlet?
I think they've done well. I didn't mention the Phillies last week, but the Phillies are technically a 500 team, and so they took care of the Phillies. They took care of the Angels. 2 even 500 teams. These are teams that lose as many times as they win. So they're missing a couple of components to really push them over the edge to have them be a more formidable opponent. But if they keep up that kind of pace later in the season, those are the types of teams that end up, being a pesky wild card, and that's when they become more dangerous than ever. Is if a team is just able to hang around just barely. In fact, just ask the 2010 Giants, who just barely hung around and squeezed in on a wild card position. That was all you need in order to create a snowball effect to a championship. But in the case of the Giants, this part of the season, it was nice to see them get back-to-back series wins against 2 pretty decent teams, and then also get a very convincing series win against a very good team. And now we just need to see them cap it off with another back-to-back convincing win against a very, very good team as well, a team that's even better than the A's. So because all the best teams in the NL right now all happen to coincidentally reside in the NL West. So it's not just the NL West, it's the NL best. So not a easy stretch right here against these Dodgers, but I think the Giants are in the position that they are because they have proven on more than one occasion that they are the best, despite being the second most injury-riddled team in all of baseball. They just have the best depth, the best pitching, and they can close better than anybody. And they have one of the top offenses in all of the majors. So I think that they're more than capable of winning tonight. So I'm praying, hoping that they get the win tonight, because that's definitely, it's an exciting season to watch, and who doesn't want to see your favorite team win?
Absolutely, of course. And you know what? Real quick, last thing I want to say, we were talking about Sammy Long. He got the start on Sunday, and boy, did he get some welcome to the MLB vibes on that day. He 5 innings pitched, a 4 ERA, and it was a little bit of a tough outing. The rookie showed rookie moves, but that's all right. That's the growing pains that they need if they want to move forward. And I do think Sammy Long has got a bright future if he can stay focused, but sometimes you need those ass kicking. So I wanted to see the Giants take the sweep, but I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to be on the positive side. Go, Sammy Long, you needed a little bit of that butt kicking. Now you need to come back even harder. We'll see what happens tonight. Of course, we're rooting for the Giants to take on and defeat the interim Intercontinental TV title Dodgers. All right, Raymond, let's move on. Warriors news, Ray. Warriors news. The Warriors here. So, the big news coming out of The Athletic is that the Warriors look like they want to possibly create some type of package that's going to surround 3 possibilities here. It's going to be James Wiseman and the 14th pick in the draft, maybe the 7th, but definitely the 14th, and possibly Andrew Wiggins in an attempt to get another star. Pascal Siakam is the player that has been attached to this possible package this week. I'm sure in the coming weeks we'll see multiple different options as this goes. I have somebody that I think they should keep an eye on that I'll talk about towards the end of the show. But I think what this, Bob Myers had some really interesting things to say about this. And I think what this says is that the Warriors are definitely in a win now mode. I think it's clear cut by the moves they're going to try and make during this offseason that this might be a championship or bust season for the Warriors. And given the Steph Curry getting a little bit older, the injury history of Klay Thompson, I definitely understand that there is a must-win now attitude. Raymond, what are you getting off the vibes of this whole idea that they are now going to create this package to get another star?
Well, I think Bob Myers kind of gave the biggest clue, and that's what he said, I quote, "I don't think it'll be a situation where we are trying to develop players at the risk of losing," and that's the short answer. Then he continued, "We're not going to develop and have it cost us games. That's not the plan." That tells me they're not interested in waiting for Wiseman to become the projected phenom that a lot of people think he will become at the expense of not making the playoffs, for a third straight season. So he has high market value right now and high upside, which makes him a very valuable bargaining chip. And even though I would rather see Wiggins stay because I thought he was a great contribution and would be a perfect backup to Klay Thompson this coming season, I don't see Toronto acquiring just Wiseman and a couple of picks and wanting to blow everything up, just for that. I think they would want a more serviceable, veteran backup like a Wiggins to also accompany him, because you're giving up a young piece that, could obviously thrive in a system like the Warriors, just because there's a lot of things he's done, even though he wasn't great last season. There's things he's done in the past, including in the playoffs against us, where he's shown, that level of play that the Warriors really covet. And I think that he would be a complimentary piece. So I'm very curious to get Candlestick Will's take on this too, because I know he has strong opinions about it. Even though on paper it sounds interesting, I just don't know. I would love for it to happen and keep Wiggins. That would be my hope. If we really are gonna see Wiseman go away, I'm okay with that, because I get it. I get what Bob Myers is saying, and he's right. The pressure, I think Bob Myers is feeling the pressure of wanting to win again within the window of your big three's prime. And that prime got cut a bit short with the back-to-back devastating injuries to Klay Thompson and Curry's ongoing injury history. And, just the fact that Draymond's getting a little older himself, and he's been dealing with injuries this past season off and on.
And his offense has gotten really spotty this year. It was really spotty this year.
It was, but it's always been spotty. So but he just doesn't seem interested in stepping up when the team needs him to. There's been seldom moments when he has. But in a season like last year, when we kind of needed him to do it at times, it just really seemed like he just wasn't capable of doing it. And again, it was, spotty is a good way to describe it, as you put it. And there's been times where he's had games where he steps up, but then like in games where, I think the point of the Warriors, from Draymond's perspective, to be a defending advocate for him, is that if you're going to play Warriors basketball, everyone needs to contribute. It can't just fall on one person's shoulders, and it fell on Curry's shoulders more often than not. And Draymond contributed in the way that he contributes, which is obviously ball distribution, boards, and then, of course, defense. But, there was a lot of guys who were brought in to take on, extra offensive output roles that just weren't able to do it, and some guys weren't even healthy to be there down the stretch when we needed them to be. You guys know who I'm talking about. So I think that, and I don't mean Klay Thompson, but I think that, I mean Oubre. I just don't know if this is going to happen. It's considering there's this many, that the rumors widespread, seems like it's a likelihood, especially when you juxtapose it with Bob Myers' comments. I think it almost sounds like inevitable. It's just a question of who are the big targets we want that make the most sense. They've thrown out Siakam, but we don't know if he's really a part of their target. They've probably got a board with like 10 guys on it. So I'm just curious to see who the other guys on the candidate are, because I don't think that Siakam's the only other player that makes sense in a potential trade package like we have proposed in this rumor.
So I'll say this, and I think this is the bottom line stemming from this trade proposal, if it even happens, right? I think the bottom line is this is yes ending what I've been saying the entire offseason and even towards the end of last year on the GoldCast. I was saying that the Warriors need a third guy. We cannot depend on Klay Thompson to be fully healthy all year. Look at KD. Look at how amazing he was in this playoff run just now. Just the incredible output he put out there. But then look at him during the entire regular season, in and out of the lineup, a lot. Scheduled rests, injuries, soreness, like not full injuries, but definitely his legs gnawing at him. You have Klay Thompson going after 2 years, one where he tears an ACL, one where he tears his Achilles, and now he's coming back. Both legs. You can't expect him to be the two-way player that we've known and loved during the Dynasty era. You can't expect that guy to be here. And you also, I don't think, especially after watching KD this past year, you cannot depend on Klay Thompson to be there for the entirety of the season. So
that's why I think Wiggins is a key component in keeping it, not having to give away in this trade package. I think I'd rather see Oubre go before Wiggins, even though Oubre is also a serviceable two-way player. I just think Wiggins proved to be the more consistent version of the two. And so I think he deserves to stay because he fits the system a lot better. Oubre took a long time to come on offensively. He started off the season very cold, and he ended the season even colder because it wasn't even there. So I think if we can get Wiggins to stay, Oubre to go, that would be favorable to me, because then you keep the true, in my opinion, true backup to Klay Thompson, who we know it can be a reliable body that can come in there when Klay needs to come out and get what is going to be an inevitable, restful play this coming season. He's going to get a lot of rest time. He's going to be monitored heavily, and there's going to be a lot of judgment calls of pulling him out when they see it happening. And he's also going to be making those judgment calls too. But I think it's going to be a combination because, players want to play. But at the same time, medical professionals are also going to be giving advice, as to how much time he should be playing ideally on those legs, because his recovery process is even far greater than the hurdle that KD had to overcome. And KD's an even bigger body, but he's not that far behind at 6'9". So I think, again, Wiggins needs to stay in this package to make it work for Klay Thompson next season. Otherwise, I don't know who that backup is.
I would love to see Wiggins stay. Obviously, the big key cog to our last championship run was, of course, Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston. The depth on the bench, something we do not have right now. And again, we need that third rated. We need the new Harrison Barnes. That's what we need. We need somebody that can fill that role in the starting lineup, and hopefully they'll find him. Here's the player I want to drop, and then we'll move on. I want everyone in the GoldCast Empire, keep an eye on that Damian Lillard situation. Keep an eye on that. That's looking kind of funky, and I don't know, my spidey sense. I'm just saying, let's all keep a look on that Damian Lillard situation. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, let's all keep an eye on Damian Lillard. Let's see what he decides to do in the next couple months.
Interesting hot take there.
Just a little sizzle. Just throwing something on the pan. Just let it cook for a little bit. I got the heat on low. All right. All right, here we go, Raymond. So Mike Garafolo on Good Morning Football says he believes the Niners can contend and that Trey Lance could be ready to start as early as September or by midseason. We've had this discussion before, Raymond. What are your thoughts on Trey Lance starting for the 49ers this season?
Okay, as it relates to Mike Garafolo's take, this is a bad take because it's only been 50% thought out. So I understand that he's really impressed by the mental preparedness of Trey Lance. I think all of us are impressed by Trey Lance's mental cognitive maturity presentation that he's shown us thus far. His interviews post-draft, his interviews during minicamp, the way he's been hanging out with the community in the spotlight and social media, going to the North Dakota event, I think, or was it? Yeah, North Dakota, yeah. He went to some event over there. At first, I thought he was at an A's game because North Dakota wears the same colors. And I was like, what's he doing at an A's game? So anyways, but the other problem with that is, like, you can be as mentally prepared as anybody in the National Football League. But that does not mean, unless you're seeing the translation onto the field, which Mike Garafolo did not mention, then there is no chance in hell you're going to take the job from Jimmy Garoppolo. Not at this stage in his career, and certainly not at this stage in Trey Lance's career. I think it's a boneheaded take because it's just not well thought of. Yes, he's mentally prepared. There's lots of quarterbacks that are mentally prepared. Brian Hoyer was really good at being mentally prepared.
Nick Mullins, great at being mentally prepared. Trent Dilfer, one of the most mentally prepared quarterbacks in NFL history. So, but that did not translate to the field. And I get it. Trey Lance is a far better the upside and athleticism that Trey Lance possesses blows the aforementioned quarterbacks out of the water. No argument there. But the point is that even guys who have been in the game for a long time can always be mentally prepared, but you have to translate on the field. And you're talking about translating on the field to one of the most complicated offenses in the entire league for a rookie to have to grasp that after not playing for 2 years, or what it's going to be presumably 2 years up to this point by the time the season starts. I'm sorry. He's not going to take some monumental crazy leap because he's just not that type of generational player. He can be, but he's going to need some time to develop first. And that was the whole plan all along, even though there were contradictory rumors to that. That never came to fruition, by the way, and was also never something that the Niners brass, including Kyle Shanahan, hinted at. They were always being cheeky and sarcastic about it. Yeah, everybody, but I could be on the trade block, Kyle Shanahan said at one point. Just kind of trolling the media. But this just is unfortunately just, I don't know if he's grasping at straws or trying to make a hot take, or if he just has a really strong bias towards Trey Lance. I think it's probably the latter because he was on Good Morning Football when he made this take, and I don't think he was trying to be disingenuous and trying to do like an inauthentic Max Kellerman / Stephen A. Smith hot take just for the sake of hot taking because that's your job. I think he was just honestly believes that Trey Lance can do that. The only way that Trey Lance can unseat Jimmy Garoppolo mid-season, as Mike Garafolo predicts, is because of injury, not because he takes some monumental leap between now and then. That's just not going to happen. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's my take. I'm going to say one thing to yes and you about Mike Garafolo, that he is a big fan of the 49ers. He is very high on us. He's very high on us this season. We are one of the teams he predicts that will be there at the very end, top 4, possibly going all the way to the Super Bowl. He's already said that a couple times on NFL Network. So he's definitely high on us as a team. That's great. That's awesome. We love it. I'm of the camp that I want Trey Lance to sit for a year. I do. We're all in such a rush to see this guy. Look at the Brett Favres of the world, the Aaron Rodgers of the world, the Steve Youngs of the world, the guys that had to sit behind and learn. Look at what it did to their careers. The Patrick Mahomes of the world. Okay? Look at the guys that had to sit and learn, and look at what the results have been. Super Bowls
for Favre, Aaron Rodgers, all of them.
Those Super Bowl wins for every single guy I mentioned. Super Bowl wins. All those guys. So let him sit. Let the rookie sit. Let the rookie sit. I'm sorry. I believe Jimmy G can take us there. He's already done it before. So let's roll with that. And everybody just calm down. Again, I feel like Dr. Henry Jones, and everyone else is Indiana Jones, and they're going for the cup. They're going for the cup, and I'm holding Indy, and I'm just going, let it go. Indy, let it go. The best Sean Connery I can do. I can't do any better than that, okay? But that's what I feel like sometimes. Let it go. Okay, he'll be here when he gets here, and it's going to be great. But for right now, let's roll with our boy, Jimmy Pornstar G, Jimmy the Jesus, and I promise we're going to be just fine. All right, GoldCast Nation, what say you? Should the Warriors put together a package and go for Siakam? And should they give up Wiggins and Wiseman and the 14th pick of the draft? Let us know in the comments. Go to youtube.com/thegoldcast and let us know. And then last, I also want to know, should Trey Lance start by the middle of the season? Should he do it? Let's see what the GoldCast Empire thinks, Raymond. I want to see what you guys actually think. Should he start by midseason? Let us know. Go to youtube.com/thegoldcast.
Or do you think he's going to make the leap and just entice Kyle Shanahan to throw him into the mix and put the entire season, on his shoulders? Because, think
like
about
a Colin
the position.
Kaepernick situation?
Yeah. Colin Kaepernick got there because Alex Smith got injured, and he didn't put him back when Alex came back into the fold because he saw the offense was much more explosive and dynamic when Colin was in there. No debate there. But that obviously didn't help us at the end of the road, which was the Super Bowl. And it's hindsight's 2020, right? Like you can't we can say that Alex might have won back there. I personally think he would have if he was playing, but we don't know that for sure, and we'll never know that for sure. So we'll just have to see. Anyways, ranting.
Absolutely. Well, so concludes another edition of the GoldCast. We are the voice of the Bay. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Solis I, baby.
Boom! We'll see you next time. Same GoldCast time, same GoldCast channel.